Hello and welcome to my channel, Textiles and Life. I'm Louise Nichols, I'm a textile artist and I live in Cornwall. And today I'm going to talk to you about revamping and painting my coffee table. So I bought this coffee table on Facebook Marketplace about 3 years ago, and the people who'd owned it had already painted it, and they'd taken out, I think originally there must have been some like screws or raised bits on the corners because there are little holes on the corners. But I've been meaning to do something to it. I've just been waiting for the right bit of inspiration really to do it. So you can see on this photo here, I've started sanding the top. So it was like a really horrible varnish on the top. I'd sanded it by hand and hadn't really got very far with it. So you'll see in a minute, there'll be a couple of videos of me using the electric sander and also then sort of using sandpaper by hand just to get into those little ridges that you can see in the second photograph. So the table cost me, I think it was about £20 when I bought it. So, but I just really like the shape of it. Okay, so here I am then using the electric sander to get rid of all that nasty varnish on the top. So a few days ago, I sanded this table down and now it's ready to paint. I've brought it back inside because we've been using it because it's our coffee table. And so our sitting room's upstairs and it's not heavy, but I would struggle to carry this up and down the stairs. So what I've done, I've just laid a cloth out. There's a couple of cloths actually under here, and I'm going to paint it up here. So I haven't got to keep carrying it up and down the stairs. So it's all sanded off, ready to paint. And my inspiration for what I'm going to do to the table, let's hope it looks nice, is this. So I have some very dark grey, which I'll show you when it comes to that bit. It's like a chalk paint. And that's what I'm going to paint the table with, but I'm not going to do the whole of the table. I'm just going to paint this outside rim. And I thought that I was going to whitewash the middle bit, but actually I might leave it this woody colour, just the natural wood. I'll see how it looks once I've painted the grey. So I'm not going to prime this bit, but I am going to begin by priming this edge. And then what I've done, which I don't normally do, have to say. Normally I make my own patterns and things, but I've bought a stencil to stencil around the outside. So this is the kind of look I'm going for. So I'm going to sand it back so it looks quite worn. I did try a more purpley coloured paint, but I really like the grey. So I'm going to go with the grey. So I've got my primer ready to go. So that just needs a bit more of a stir. So the table's already sanded. I've wiped it down with a damp cloth. And now that's nicely stirred, what I'm going to do is to start priming, just prime this outside edge. I might need to, there's like a slopey, where the edge of the wood is, it slopes down a little bit. I might have to go in that with a smaller brush. We'll see how we go. Okay, that's it then. That's all the priming done. I did have to use the small brush. I kept catching the edge of this, and because I'm not, well, I don't think I'm going to paint this. I didn't really want to keep having to keep wiping it off. So, okay, so this needs to be left now for 2 hours before I can paint over it. So we'll come back in about 2 hours. So my primer's dry. I've sanded it. I've wiped it with a damp cloth. That's dry now as well. So I'm just stirring my paint. Move that out of the way. Just stirring my paint, ready to paint around that edge. So this is a very, very dark grey. I've had it for years, this paint, as you can probably see from the rusty lid. Graphite is the colour, and it's this Rust-Oleum chalky finish furniture paint. That's pretty well stirred now. So I'm going to make a start painting the edge and hope I like it when I've done it. It's going to be quite dark. Okay, that's all painted now. So I've gone round the edge again with my small brush just to get into that little dip there. So drying time. Didn't look at that. Coverage, drying time. Touch drying 1 hour. Second coat after 4 hours. Okay, so I'm not applying the second coat, but I am going to stencil over the top. So I think I'll probably leave it a couple of hours again and then see how it feels. So we'll come back in a couple of hours and carry on. So my stencil's stuck down very lightly with some masking tape. I'm hoping it doesn't pull the paint off when I lift it. And I'm starting in the middle. So I've not measured, I'm just kind of going by the middle of the board here on the table. I'm using some satin paint. It's like a creamy colour that we've got left over from, I don't know what I painted with that. And I've got a sponge. Now, I have tried a stippling brush, but I find I get a better result with this. So this is a bit of kitchen, what are they called? Scouring pad things. And I've just popped my paint onto an old lid. Get rid of the excess and I'm going to make a start. So very lightly to start off with, and then I'll just get a bit heavier. I couldn't decide whether to have the pattern sort of nearer the middle or near the edge. Anyway, I've gone for the edge. So we'll see how that goes. So these stencils, I bought a pack of 8. And the reason I did that is because when I started thinking about the pattern I knew I wanted something sort of a bit Moroccan-y or Indian-y. And I've got a few reference books that I could have used and done my own, but I thought if I'm going to be using someone else's pattern anyway, you know, to save me the time, maybe I should just go for the ones that are already pre-done, because if I was going to do it myself, I'd be having to draw it out, trace it, buy some stencil, you know, plasticky stuff, acetate to do it. And I just thought actually this means that I can get on with it quicker. Oh. So I've done down one edge, quite pleased with that. And I'm thinking that anywhere where it has blobbed a little bit, I can always paint it in. But as I say, I'm going to sand it yet, so it's going to look quite different and a lot softer than it does at the minute. So what I'm going to do now is go and wash the stencil, and I'm going to let this dry. I don't know whether to, no, I think I will stencil the whole table, and then I'll start to try, because obviously this needs to dry before. I'm itching to start to start sanding it, but the paint's got to dry anyway, so I'm thinking that I should stencil the whole lot and then start to sand it, obviously once it's dry. Okay. So oh, there's something very loud just come into the sitting room through the window. Right, so I'll bring you back in once I've stenciled the whole table. I couldn't resist, look, I've had a little go and I'm really pleased with that. So I'm really wanting to soften this. The original sample look is even paler again. And so, hello, I don't know if you can hear or see. Jim's come in. It's getting near to tea time. I probably won't finish this today now, but I just wanted to sort of show you a little bit of sanding. So I'm going right up to the top because I want to sort of soften that bit there as well. And the thing is, with this being chalk paint, it creates an awful lot of dust, I suppose, really. Which is obviously from the paint. So I've got a damp cloth up here. That I've then been wiping across. So that was like a medium coarse sandpaper, and this is a finer one. So I'm sort of going up and down now with this one. And I can really sort of control how much I want to sand away with that one. Anyway, so I'm going to, I probably won't get all of this sanded now tonight, but what I'll do again is probably part 2 actually. I think I might paint the middle bit after all, because now I've got that bit painted. Oh, it looks a little bit strange, it just being wood, so I think I'll probably paint that as well. So yeah, I think there'll be a part 2 of the stenciled coffee table. Okay, thanks for watching then, and see you next time.